Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through all the noise and really give you the crucial knowledge you need. And today, well, we're diving into something that trips up a lot of people starting out, building credit, like from scratch. Absolutely nothing. Our mission is pretty simple. Give you, our listener, a clear step-by-step way to get that credit file going when your record is, thin or maybe even non-existent. We want to help you avoid that feeling of just being overloaded with information.
Yeah, it's that classic catch-22, isn't it? You need credit to get credit, but how do you even start? But the good news is our sources have really boiled it down. They point to specific products, specific habits, the actual building blocks you need right at the beginning. We're basically going to lay out the blueprint for you.
Fantastic. Let's just jump right in then, because before you even think about applying for anything, you got to understand how they keep score, right? The rules of the game. So let's kick things off with monitoring your report and those FICO score factors.
Exactly. Look, the very first thing, step 0, really is knowing what's actually in your credit report right now, or maybe what isn't in it. And remember, you're entitled to get a free copy of your full report. That's from each of the big 3 bureaus, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, once every year. The place to go is annualcreditreport.com. Seriously, do that first.
Okay, so knowing where you stand, essential. Now let's talk impact. When you do eventually get that FICO score, what really moves the needle? Because I think people know paying bills matters, but maybe not how much it matters.
Oh, the how much is everything. The FICO model, it basically weighs different behaviors. And the top 2, they make up a massive 65% of your score. The biggest chunk, around 35%, is your payment history.
Wow, 35%, that's huge. So basically, if you just focus on paying on time, every single time, you're already like a third of the way there.
That's exactly the power of it. Consistency. The rule here is pretty absolute. Pay at least the minimum on time, every single time. If you slip up, if you miss a payment by 30 days or more, well, that's going to do serious damage, especially to a new credit file. It's the fastest way to derail your progress, honestly.
Okay, so the bar for responsibility is set pretty high right from the start. What's the next biggest piece then?
That's amounts owed. Most people know it as the credit utilization ratio. And it's another big one, about 30% of your FICO score. Basically, the scoring models look at how close you are to using up all your available credit. Being maxed out is a red flag.
Right, so we're talking about consistency and, restraint. Those 2 things basically control 2/3 of your score. What's the rule of thumb for utilization then?
The standard advice from experts is keep your usage below 30% of your total credit limit. So, if you have a card with a $500 limit, try hard to keep that balance under $150 when the statement closes. Honestly, the lower, the better. It shows lenders you're stable and don't need every penny of credit they offer you.
That's such a key point for beginners. It's easy to get a $300 limit and think, great, I can spend $300, but you shouldn't. Okay, quickly then, what about applying for new stuff? Does that hurt?
It can, yeah. That falls under new credit. Every time you formally apply for a card or loan, the lender does what's called a hard inquiry, and that gets logged on your report. If you go out and apply for, say, 3 different cards in just a couple of months, lenders see that as risky behavior. Your score will likely dip temporarily. So be strategic about applying.
Got it. That's the scorecard. Now we know the rules. Let's look at the actual tools. You mentioned 2 main paths for beginners: secured cards and credit builder loans. Let's unpack the secured card first. Looks normal, but works differently.
It's really the ultimate starter tool, yeah. The key difference is that security deposit. You apply, get approved, then you put down some cash, maybe $200 to maybe $500. The bank holds onto that cash, and usually that deposit amount becomes your credit limit. It basically removes almost all the risk for the bank, because if you don't pay, well, they already have your money.
So that deposit makes it easier to qualify with no history. But here's the thing. If you're just starting out, $200, $300, that's not nothing. Isn't that deposit a pretty big hurdle?
It definitely can be a hurdle. Needing that cash up front, that's the main drawback. But the upside is often much easier approval, assuming you have some income. And, maybe more importantly, a lot of these secured cards have what they call a graduation feature built in.
Ah, okay, that's the exciting part for someone starting out. What does graduation actually look like?
So, after you show you can use the card responsibly, the sources mention things like maybe 6 straight on-time payments, keeping your accounts in good shape. The issuer might just automatically switch you. They convert your secured card to a regular unsecured one. You get your deposit back, and boom, you now have credit based purely on their trust in you. It's kind of the payoff for that period of discipline.
That sounds like a really neat system, that transition. Okay, let's switch gears to the other main option, credit builder loans. These always seem a bit weird because you borrow money but don't get it right away.
Yeah, they are a bit counterintuitive. Usually you find these at credit unions. They'll loan you a small amount, let's say $500, but instead of giving it to you, they put it into a locked savings account. Then you make small monthly payments on that loan over a set time, maybe a year, maybe two. And crucially, those payments get reported to the credit bureaus. Once you've paid off the loan, the full amount, that $500 plus maybe a tiny bit of interest, is released to you from the savings account.
Okay, so it forces you to save while building a payment history. Smart. But let me ask the same question as before. If I'm starting from zero, maybe cash-strapped, isn't having $500 locked away for a year or two, totally out of reach, also a pretty big burden.
That's definitely the main financial challenge with this one. You have to budget for those payments knowing you can't touch the principal. You really have to see that locked money as collateral you're paying off. But there was a really interesting finding from the CFPB back in 2020. They found these loans worked best for people who didn't already have other debts. If you're starting with a completely clean slate, it's a very effective way to show you can handle payments.
Now, I remember reading there's sort of hidden benefit for your credit score mix with these loans, too.
Oh, absolutely. A credit builder loan is what's called installment credit. Fixed payments over a set term, like a car loan or mortgage. A credit card is revolving credit. Your credit score actually improves if you show you can handle different types of credit. So having both installment and revolving helps your credit mix. A credit builder loan adds that installment piece right away.
Huh. So potentially if you could manage both, you'd be ticking two different boxes for the credit score algorithms right from the start.
Exactly. You'd be building payment history and diversifying your credit mix simultaneously.
Interesting. Okay, moving on from those two main ones. There are a couple of other options, maybe more niche, especially if you're a student.
Right. There are student credit cards. These are specifically for, well, college students. Usually you need to show you're enrolled in like a 2 or 4 year school and be 18 or over. The big plus. Usually no security deposit needed. And they often come with perks you see on regular cards, like maybe some cash back or low introductory interest rates.
So if there's no deposit, what do they look for to approve you?
They still need to see you can likely pay it back. So you'll need to show some kind of consistent, reliable income. But the good news here, especially for students, is that income doesn't always have to be from a traditional job. Our sources say sometimes income from a parent or guardian can count, which helps a lot of students qualify.
Makes sense. And then there's the old classic, the retail store card.
Ah, yes, the department store card, the gas card, that kind of thing. These are often, frankly, easier to get approved for than a major bank credit card. So they're a common first step for many people. But there are definite trade-offs. They usually come with pretty low credit limits and often much higher interest rates. Big watch out there. Plus, you can typically only use them at that specific store or maybe it's partner brands. So you weigh the easier approval against those limitations and potentially higher costs if you carry a balance.
Okay, right. So what if maybe I can't get approved for any of those just yet, or I just want to, I don't know, speed things up a bit? The sources mentioned some alternative routes. Let's talk about being an authorized user.
Yeah, this can be a really powerful shortcut, but it hinges entirely on trust. Basically, if someone you know well, like a parent or close family friend who has excellent credit, adds you to their existing credit card account, you become an authorized user. What happens then is that card's entire history, its credit limit, its payment record, it all suddenly appears on your credit report too.
And the potential benefits seem huge. You instantly inherit the age of that account, which helps your average age of account, so that's about 15% of your FICO score, right? And if they have a high limit and keep their balance super low, it could dramatically lower your overall credit utilization ratio overnight.
It can, but, and this is a huge, but you absolutely need a serious warning here. Your credit score is now directly tied to their financial habits with that card. If that primary cardholder starts missing payments or runs up a huge balance like 90% utilization, all that negative stuff, it hits your credit score just as hard. You absolutely must choose someone incredibly responsible. It's a massive risk if you pick the wrong person. Don't take it lightly.
Okay, big caveat there. The second alternative path involves using bills you're already paying through services like Experian Boost. What's the deal with that?
Right, so Experian Boost lets you link your bank account. Then the service scans for regular payments you make for things like your utility bills, your cell phone, maybe even streaming services or rent. If you pay those on time, Boost can add that positive payment information directly to your Experian credit report. There's also Experian Go, which is sort of aimed at people who are credit invisible, trying to help them create that very first file.
Okay, on the surface, that sounds amazing. Use bills I already pay to build credit. But the sources seemed a bit hesitant. There's some controversy.
There is, yeah. The main thing is, while Experian Boost might show you a higher score, what they call a boosted score, not all lenders actually use that specific boosted score when they're deciding whether to give you a loan or what interest rate to offer. Many lenders still rely on the standard FICO 8 score, the unboosted one. So you might see a higher number, which feels good, but it might not actually translate into better loan terms from, say, a different bank. Plus, there's the whole aspect of giving a service ongoing access to scan your bank account data. That's a privacy consideration for sure.
Good points. And just quickly, the cosigner option for loans.
Right, a cosigner can help you get approved for a specific loan if you can't qualify on your own. But the cosigner takes on huge responsibility. They are legally on the hook for the entire loan amount if you default. Asking someone to cosign is asking them to take a major financial risk for you.
Okay, so we've covered the tools, the strategies to get started. Once you have that secured card or you're making payments on that credit builder loan, what are the absolute key habits to make sure you keep moving forward towards that graduation goal?
It really comes back to those first two FICO factors, consistency and restraint. They have to become second nature. First, ideally, pay your balance in full every single month. Avoid interest charges completely if you can. If you do need to carry a balance, you absolutely must keep it low relative to your limit. Stay well below that 30% utilization mark. Lower is always better.
And it's probably easy to just focus on the new card you just got.
You can't do that. Lenders look at your whole financial picture. If you have student loans or maybe an old medical bill or anything else, neglecting those payments will completely undermine the positive steps you're taking with your new credit tool. You have to manage all your debts responsibly. And another thing, try to resist applying for more credit right away. Let your first account get established, maybe graduate first. Those extra hard inquiries can just slow down the score building process.
Right. And if you followed step 0, pulled that initial credit report, what's the final kind of maintenance task?
Check it for mistakes. Seriously, read it carefully. If you see anything wrong in an account that isn't yours, a late payment reported incorrectly, you need to dispute it immediately. Request an investigation. Errors happen, and they can unfairly drag down your score. And just be patient. Remember, it usually takes around 6 months of reported activity before you even get your very first official FICO score generated. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big picture for you, the listener, starting out? It seems like the path isn't overly complex, but it demands discipline. It really boils down to 2 core things: being absolutely consistent with paying on time and showing real restraint by keeping your balances low. If you nail those 2, you're basically controlling 65% of your score right there.
Exactly. You've now got the main options laid out, whether it's putting up collateral for a secured card, using the structured payment approach of a credit builder loan, or maybe leveraging a trusted relationship or existing bills. But the most important takeaway, really, is that just knowing this stuff isn't enough. You have to apply it. Choose your tool, use it responsibly, maybe set up automatic minimum payments so you never miss one, and keep an eye on your progress.
Okay, and as always, we like to leave you with a final thought, something to chew on as you start this journey. Here it is. We know that credit scores, like seeing a mix of credit types, that revolving credit from cards and installment credit from loans. We also know getting started, building that initial history, is the toughest part. So if you're truly starting from 0, should you seriously consider tackling both at once? Maybe opening both a secured credit card and a credit builder loan right at the beginning. Think about that initial investment versus potentially accelerating your credit building by establishing that healthy mix from day one. Something to mull over.